It's another beautiful night for baseball in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, home of the Fonz. Roof and panels are open here at Miller Park once again, the second of this four-game series. The Diamondbacks and the Brewers tonight. Patrick Corbin versus Matt Garza from America's Dairyland. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Miller Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. More injury news for the Diamondbacks today. Hopefully this isn't too bad. Jake Lamb has a bad bruise on his left hand, so he is not in the lineup tonight and likely won't be for the next few days. So, Bob, a different look for things for Chip Hale tonight.
Yeah, Chip had to get a little creative. Jean Segura, who this season as a leadoff hitter has been fantastic. He ranks first in hits, first in total bases, first in triples, second in average among all National League leadoff hitters, but he finds himself in that three-hole in front of Paul Goldschmidt tonight.
Yeah, Chip said he talked to Jean Segura about dropping down, trying to fill that void left by Jake Lamb in the middle of the order, and said, hey, you got Goldie hitting behind you. That's not so bad. Good to have Yasmani Tomas in the lineup these days, especially on the road.
Yeah, just put him in an airplane for a couple hours, and this guy suddenly becomes Babe Ruth, hitting for a lot of power on this road trip. You can see what he's done. Couple of homers, 3 RBIs. He's hit 3 doubles on this trip. Seems like every time he hits the ball, it goes for extra bases.
Yeah, 6 hits in 4 games on the trip, 3 doubles and a couple of home runs. So we are set to go. The D-backs and the Brewers. Patrick Corbin and Matt Garza. First pitch on the way from Milwaukee coming up. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money. Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Lone View Casino. Get in on big wins. By your Valley Chevy dealers. Find a great deal on select 2016 vehicles at the Chevy Summer Sell Down. Visit your Valley Chevy dealer now. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And by Gigablend, 100 times more powerful internet from Cox. Bring on tomorrow. Outside Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where tailgating is the national sports. Former Brewer Gene Segura will bat third in the lineup tonight. Patrick Corbin and Matt Garza, the D-backs and the Brew Crew, coming up next on Fox Sports Arizona. Another gorgeous night in Wisconsin. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson along the way. A nice night, 83 degrees. The roof and the panels are open at Miller Park. Just about 10 minutes from downtown Milwaukee, the second of a 4-game series. It's the Diamondbacks and the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers coming into tonight fourth in the NL Central. They are 16.5 games behind the Cubs for the division lead and 13 under 500. 42-55 on the year. As we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, no Jake Lamb tonight. He's got a bruise on his left hand and will likely not start for the next few days. So a different look to the Valley Chevy lineup for Chip Hale's D-backs tonight.
Yeah, Michael Bourne finds his way back into that leadoff spot. Spot in the lineup he's very familiar with. Phil Gosselin swinging a hot bat will hit second. Gene Segura moves down to the 3 spot. Paul Goldschmidt batting fourth. Wellington Castillo doing the catching, batting fifth. Yasmani Tomas out in right field. Chris Owings in center field. Brandon Drury at third base. And lefty Patrick Corbin on the mound.
Brace yourself, BB. The first guy out on the field is your boy, Matt Garza.
Wow.
He's early.
Yeah, this is a guy that usually likes to take his sweet time on days he pitches. He knows it's his world and normally makes everybody wait. But Matt Garza anxious to get out on the mound tonight, making his 8th start of the season. It has not gone his way. This guy used to be a big-time strikeout pitcher, not so much anymore. Gives up a lot of contact and is one of the worst fielding pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball.
Matt Garza is your Arizona Ford starting pitcher. You see the record, the ERA just under 6. He's been giving up more hits and striking out fewer batters than ever before. Let's take a look at the defense around him. Our eye on defense for the Brewers, brought to you by Nationwide Vision. Centers, Keon Broxton and Jake Elmore, a couple of former D-backs draftees out there in the Milwaukee outfield.
Yeah, Broxton in center, Elmore in right, Ryan Braun in his traditional left field position, Hernan Perez at third base, Jonathan Villar at shortstop, Ryan Joseph Jeanette. He likes to be called Scooter, but I said last night, anybody that hits a ball off the scoreboard, you can't call him Scooter anymore. He'll be at second base. Chris Carter at first base. Jonathan Lucroy back behind the plate tonight for right-hander Matt Garza.
Behind the plate tonight for the umpires, Jim Wolf. He'll have the balls and strikes. Adrian Johnson at first base, Chad Whitson at second, and the crew chief Gary Cederstrom is at third. And before we get going here, BB, it's a chance to have a look at your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Make him field his position. Matt Garza, whether it's fielding bunts, throwing pickoff attempts to first base, really has issues throwing to the bases. Doesn't seem to bother him pitching off the rubber on the pitcher's mound. But if you make him move off that mound and pick up the ball and make a throw to the bases, that's when he has some issues.
Diamondbacks only 1-3 on this 10-game road trip so far. 3 more to play here at Miller Park in Milwaukee for Chip Hale's crew, then 3 in LA against the Dodgers. And Chip told us before the game today that Friday is when we'll get another look at Braden Shipley. That'll be Braden's second major league start. That's also the day that David Peralta will rejoin the Diamondbacks. He'll play a couple of more games in Reno this week, and then we'll see him Friday at Dodger Stadium.
Be really good to get some of the pieces back into place. Chris Owings coming back certainly helped a lot. It gave Chip the flexibility because CO plays so many different positions to give some guys a little bit of time off that have been playing pretty much every day since the injury bug bit the Diamondbacks.
Michael Bourne, a new look lineup tonight with Jake Lamb sitting out. He's in the leadoff spot. We are set to go. The Diamondbacks and the Brewers from Miller Park in Milwaukee. Hernan Perez comes in a couple of steps at third, and we are underway. Bourne.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say Garza is basically a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider, curveball. He does have a changeup that he rarely uses.
See the numbers on Michael, 269 and 2 homers. He singled and struck out twice last night. Sends this out to Keon Broxton in center field. 1 away. Well, he just can't get Phil Gosselin out of this D-backs lineup. Chip Hale said, well, we're just going to keep going with this until it stops working. Phil's really responded well, a productive bat lately. And now up to 279 on the year. Had 3 hits in his start Sunday in Cincinnati. 2 more hits last night. There's the strike, and it's 0-1.
And Phil has really done a nice job lately of hitting that ball to the opposite field. A lot of teams pitching him out over the plate away, and he just stays right on it, drives it into right field, down the right field line. We always like to see the guy ahead of Phil Gosselin get on base and open that hole on the right side of the infield.
Checks his swing. He didn't go, says Adrian Johnson, and it's 1-1. Phil Gosselin will almost always put the ball into play. That's why he's a good fit for this 2-hole, certainly. But he's down 1-2. Matt Garza has lost his last 4 starts. He is 0-4 in July. But he has not started a game at home this month. Every loss has come away from Miller Park at St. Louis, Washington, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. He did not complete 6 innings in any of those starts. Gosselin shoots it the other way for Chris Carter at first. 2 down. And here's the former Brewer batting third tonight, Gene Segura. .315 and 8 home runs. First time all season that Gene has hit anywhere but leadoff. Jake Lamb out of the starting lineup for a few days with that bruised left hand. So Chip told us today they'll try and shake it up a bit, see how this looks, dropping Segura into the 3 spot. He said, look, Segura, Goldie, 3 and 4. Those are our 2 best hitters.
Well, really the only thing that Gene Segura doesn't provide on a regular basis for a number 3 hitter is that power. I mean, he gets his base hits, he sprays the ball around the field. He hopefully will be on base in front of Goldie a lot here tonight.
Garza jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Matt Garza missed much of the first half of this year with an injury. Well, you said make him field his position. There it is.
Had trouble catching the ball from the umpire and then had trouble picking it up after he dropped it.
Bunt. Everyone should bunt.
Right back to the mound. It doesn't even have to be a good bunt. You want him to pick the ball up.
Let's start with 9 bunts. Based on what we've seen so far, it might work. 1-2 pitch. Hard up the middle and into center. A base hit for the 3-hole hitter. Jean Segura does indeed get on base ahead of Goldie, and he's in there with a hustle double. Keon Broxton a little slow to get it back into Jonathan Villar, and Segura snags an extra 90 feet.
Just absolutely love to see this. Looks like a routine single into center field for Jean Segura. Nothing is routine when Jean Segura is running the bases. He sees Broxton moving a little bit to his right, a little lackadaisical, lobbing the ball back into the infield, and Jean Segura never broke stride and ends up at second base in scoring position for Paul Goldschmidt.
That's the way he has played all year long. His 19th double. He's at second with 2 down for Goldie. How about Jean Segura, Bob, busting it right out of the box on this one?
At least it gives yourself a chance. If something happens, if Broxton bobbles the ball, or in this case is a little lackadaisical getting it back into the infield, it gives you the option of going to second base. If you jog down that first baseline, you have no choice but to stop at first.
Garza's got an issue with his belt. He's got to tuck or untuck that jersey. Now he's finally set to go. Had the belt a little too tight, I think. Now something else isn't right. One and one. Goldie 3 for 5 last night. The opener all singles. Up to 294 with 17 home runs.
Now, this is a guy Goldie has struggled against in his career. He's only 2 for 15 against Matt Garza with 5 strikeouts. That's a 133 batting average. He has drawn 3 walks.
Garza was injured to start the year. Brewers put him on the DL right as the season began with a right lat strain. Then about a month later he had to be moved from the 15-day DL to the 60-day DL. Made 3 rehab appearances with Class A Wisconsin in the Midwest League. Made his first start this year June 14th. So he missed the first 2.5 months. Up the middle and into center. This will get Segura home, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. The king of Miller Park strikes again. The RBI single for Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldie will get the RBI, but credit Jean Segura for his hustle getting to second base with 2 outs in the inning to set up that RBI opportunity. Slider working its way toward the outside corner. Goldie just bangs it up the middle of the field. You can see Villar playing toward the hole at shortstop. That opened up the middle of the field for Goldie, and the D-backs take an early lead.
Goldie came into the ball game a .518 career hitter in this ballpark. And the Diamondbacks have a 1-0 lead. Back-to-back 2-out hits bring up Wellington Castillo. Goldie takes off for second. No throw. No one even at the bag. And he stole that right on Garza, his 14th. Jonathan Lucroy had no one to even throw to down there.
Wow. And Wellington Castillo does exactly the right thing. Just get out of the way. Paul Goldschmidt could have stopped right there and walked into second base. Nobody even bothered to cover the bag. That's how big that jump was.
Chance to pick up another 2-out run right here. Well, he gets into one and drives it to center. Keon Broxton won't get there, and it bounces off the wall. Goldie scores. It's an RBI double for Wellington Castillo, and it's 2-0 Diamondbacks.
That's good to see Wellington Castillo heating up a little bit. Gets a breaking ball that just flutters up there in the middle of the plate. He really hit that ball hard to the gap in left center. Up and over the fence for a book rule double. 2-0 Diamondbacks.
13th double this year for Beef Wellington. And here's the road warrior, Yasmani Tomas. 3 straight 2-out hits have resulted in a couple of Diamondback runs. With Castillo at second and 2 down, Tomas 259 and 15 homers. He had a double and an RBI last night. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. It's 0-1. Yasmani already with 6 hits on the road trip, including 3 doubles and a pair of homers.
He's done it on a little bit of everything from opposing pitchers. He's hit fastballs hard. He's hit breaking balls hard, mostly on the first pitch.
They've done a good job of changing his pregame routine, and a lot of that came at the suggestion of Ariel Prieto, who said, you know, Yasmani hits better on the road than he does at home. And when we're on the road, we take batting practice later, so let's just have him start taking batting practice a little closer to game time, regardless of where the game is, and that's what they've done. So after BP, Yasmani will go back underneath, and he'll start to get hot again about 20-30 minutes before the ball game, so he's all lathered up by the time we come out for first pitch, and it's worked out well. Nice stop there by VR. Carter can't backhand that one, and everybody's safe. Castillo in at third.
It'll be interesting to see how they rule this. Nice diving play by VR just to get to that ball, but his throw across the diamond is in the dirt. Carter can't pick it cleanly.
And they put an error up on the board. E6, the error to the shortstop. Jonathan VR has runners at the corners with 2 outs for Chris Owings. CO 275 and 2 home runs. Trouble right out of the gate for Matt Garza. This is the way his season has gone. 1-4 in 7 starts with the ERA just about 6. And winless this month. There's a chopper to third. Hernan Perez has it. And that ends the inning, but the Diamondbacks get 2. They hand Patrick Corbin a 2-0 lead. that's the real deal right there. They'll put on about a level of popcorn, throw some butter on there, more popcorn, another butter, one more level of popcorn. There's a long line at that thing on the main concourse. Patrick Corbin, a 2-0 lead. He's your Arizona Ford starting pitcher. Second in the National League in earned runs allowed. It's been a struggle this year for Patrick. He has lost his last 3 starts and won just twice since the middle of May.
Yeah, really looking to get on a good roll. Patrick really hasn't had back-to-back starts where he had his best stuff and was able to work his way through a lineup. However, he is 2-2 lifetime against the Brewers with a 1.80 ERA, 22 punch-outs in 20 innings. Hopefully getting started here tonight.
And they have changed Patrick Corbin's routine in between starts, hoping for some different results. We'll see how that works out as Jonathan Villar, the shortstop, steps in to lead it off for the Brewers, and there's strike 1. Villar doubled and homered last night. He scored twice, 296 and 8 home runs. One of the reasons Braden Shipley was called up to pitch last night was to push Patrick Corbin back a day, to give Patrick one more extra day of rest. They really wanted to give him that one extra day before his next start based on the results they'd seen lately. Sky high out to right center field. Owings is out there. And he's got it. Deer Valley Chevy lineup for Craig Counsell's Milwaukee Brewers.
Seeing Jonathan Villar fly out to center field. He'll be at shortstop with Hernan Perez at third base. Ryan Braun in left field. Jonathan Lucroy doing the catching with Chris Carter at first. Scooter Gennett at second base. Jake Elmore out in right field. Keon Broxton in center, and Matt Garza on the mound.
Hernan Perez, the third baseman, 0 for 4 last night. Patrick throwing first pitch strikes. Getting ahead in counts, that's what you want to see. Perez, 274 and 5 home runs on the year. Mentioned the different routine for Patrick Corbin. They have had Patrick sort of throttle back on his bullpen sessions in between starts, and as he said, just trying to save some bullets. And he and Mike Butcher have altered his routine a bit, both in the weight room and in the side work, just trying to find something that works, try a few new things out. Bounce to third for Brandon Drury. Low throw. Goldie's got the scoop. 2 outs. Our eye on defense for the D-backs, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Smiling Tomas out in right field as usual. Chris Owings in center. Michael Bourne slides over to left field tonight with Brandon Drury and Gene Segura on the left side of the infield. Phil Dawson and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for lefty Patrick Corbin.
Ryan Braun. .323, 14 home runs, now 46 RBIs. Braun was on base most of the ball game last night. He had 2 hits and walked twice. I like to see Patrick Corbin come inside to right-hand hitters, establish that inner part of the plate. That's what made him so good prior to the Tommy John surgery. Very aggressive out there.
He's gotten his called strikes on the outside corner, but he's pounded that fastball in on these righties already in this game. Just off the plate inside on the first delivery to Braun. Came inside on Villar.
That was such a part of Patrick's identity and has been his willingness to go inside, both the right-handers and left-handers. You don't see a lot of pitchers pitch inside effectively anymore. But that was always one of his calling cards.
Another guy that used to do that was a big left-hander by the name of Randy Johnson.
Worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, you know, Randy had more trouble throwing away to right-handed hitters.
Why so?
Yeah, I don't know. He had just always pounded righties in, and been very successful doing it. And you know, we tried to convince him that every now and then you could paint that outside corner and freeze a right-handed hitter. And it took him a while to buy into it, but you know, how do you make the great better? Well, they have to be willing to try some different things, and Randy was.
Braun walked twice last night. He's ahead of Corbin 3-1. This is a guy who can be tough on left-hand pitching. He's hitting .360 versus lefties this year, including 5 home runs. And inside, got the strike call that time from Jim Wolf, and it's full 3-2. Jonathan Lucroy would be next. Back behind the plate tonight. He was at first base last night.
These are always key at bats early in the ball game. Jonathan Lucroy, obviously the Brewers catcher. He's got all of his gear off. He's in the on-deck circle. He's thinking about his at bat should Ryan Braun reach. If Braun happens to make the last out of the inning, now Jonathan Lucroy's got to run back to the dugout, put the catcher's gear on, go back out, get ready to play defense, knowing that he's the leadoff hitter in the next inning. Is going to have to do it all over again in reverse order.
Well, he hit Braun around the foot somewhere, so Lucroy will bat. Well, they put a walk up on the board. I can't tell if it hit him or not. Let's see. Just missed the toe by a hair. That scored a base on balls. So another walk for Braun brings up Lucroy.
Lucroy, the Brewer, with the best numbers against Patrick Corbin, 5 for 8 lifetime with a double.
301 and 13 homers for the Brewers catcher. 1 for 4 last night. He singled and struck out. Comes inside again, but misses. It's 1-0. Two balls and no strikes. Lucroy, for a good right-hand hitter, is not doing very well this year. Against left-hand pitching, it's about a 100-point drop in batting average versus left-handers. That's one's in there for a strike. 2-1. Up the middle and under a diving Phil Gosselin. Braun will stop at second. A base hit for Lucroy.
Really short swing that time by Lucroy. Just get the barrel on it, hit it somewhere hard. That time it went right back at Patrick Corbin, who tried to flag it down, but when he was unable to do so, it got through into center field for a knock.
2 on and 2 out for big Chris Carter. Hitting only .218 on the year, but he leads the Brewers in home runs and RBIs and leads the National League in strikeouts. He struck out in his only at bat last night. Braun is at second and Lucroy at first, 2 down. Inside again. Patrick really trying to establish that inner part of the plate against these Brewers right-hand hitters. But more often than not, he's just missed. Behind now, 1-0. And a slow start to the second half of the year for Carter. 4 for 35 since the All-Star break. That one missed, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Chris Carter with runners in scoring position. Not quite Anthony Rizzo-esque. There's a slight drop off there. Well, Patrick got the first 2 outs, a fly ball and a ground ball. But a walk to Braun, a single by Lucroy, now behind on Carter, 2-0. 20th pitch of the inning on the way. 3 balls and no strikes. Scooter Gennett, who homered off the center field scoreboard last night, is on deck. Rio strike is in there. There's Scooter Gennett. Yes, he's named after a Muppet. That was his favorite Muppet character as a kid, and he would answer only to the name Scooter. His parents just gave up. Up the middle and into center. This will get Braun home with the first Brewer run, and it's a 2-1 ball game. The RBI single for Chris Carter.
Pitch up and out over the plate after pounding Carter inside earlier in the at-bat. He finally gets a pitch he can handle out over the plate. Diamondbacks had Gene Segura shading over in the hole between third and short, which opened up the middle of the field for Carter, and that RBI base hit.
3 straight have reached for the Brewers, all with 2 outs. That brings out Mike Butcher. Here is Scooter Gennett. He didn't just homer last night. He had a homer that went off the scoreboard above the hitter's background in center field. He put a dent in that thing. 260 and 9 home runs. Sees it safely in 4 straight. You can hear the sound that this makes when it clangs off the Miller Lite sign out there. Now, this is a shot. Not bad for a little guy, 5'10", nicknamed Scooter.
Ryan Joseph Gennett.
So he's got some pop.
Talked to Gennett a little bit before the ball game today. He was playing in the Florida State League when my son Michael was playing in Daytona, and the All-Star game that year was in Clearwater, Florida. My wife and I went, stayed at a hotel, walked over to the ballpark, and as we went through the parking lot, there was this RV with this ginormous tailgate party going on.
Was the Genetts?
Scooter's family. They invited us in to have a brat and a beer, and all was well.
Well, they're from Sarasota, Florida, the Gennett family. Scooter drafted out of high school there by the Brewers, a 16th round pick back in '09. Jonathan Lucroy's at second, Chris Carter at first. 2 balls and a strike on Gennett. Already a 25 pitch first inning for Patrick Corbin. Missed away, and it's 3-1. Scooter Gennett does not really have an issue matching up with left-hand pitching. He's hitting .263 against lefties this year. That includes a couple of home runs, so he can handle himself up there against a good left-hander. This will send the runners off. Lucroy from second and Carter from first. 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. There go the runners, and Gennett laces that one down the left field line, but foul. Jake Elmore, former Diamondback, is on deck. He would be next. One more time on 3-2 to Scooter Gennett. Runners go. Just does get a piece of that one way out in front.
Really had to extend his swing out there to just get a piece of that breaking ball, working its way away from the left-handed hitter.
Runners go, and that one misses. Second walk in the inning. 4 straight have reached, all with 2 outs against Patrick Corbin, who seemed to want that one but didn't get it from Jim Wolf. Yeah, pretty good pitch.
Yep.
So 30 pitches already for Patrick. Former D-back Jake Elmore, only 18 games with Milwaukee this year, hitting .158. He's 3 for 19 at the plate. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Jake Elmore, the ASU Sun Devil, up there with Lucroy at third. Big Chris Carter at second and Scooter Gennett at first. Elmore was a D-backs 34th round pick in the 08 draft out of ASU. He did not go Adrian Johnson. Made his major league debut with the Diamondbacks back in 2012. Played only 30 games with the D-backs before he was waived after that season. Since then, he's bounced around. He's been with the Astros, the White Sox, the A's, the Reds, the Pirates, the Rays, and now the Brewers. That time he did go, says Adrian. 1-2. There is action in the Diamondback bullpen with Corbin already well over 30 pitches in the inning. Base hit. Lucroy will score to tie the ball game. Here comes Chris Carter, and it's 3-2 Milwaukee. 5 straight reach, all with 2 outs against Patrick.
This has become an all too familiar refrain for the Diamondbacks. Score in the top of the inning and give it right back in the bottom of the inning on this road trip. You'd really like to see somebody go out there to the mound, stall for a little bit of time. You'd like to think Patrick could get one more out and escape this bottom half of the first inning, but if not, the bullpen needs a little more time to get loose down there. Randall Delgado just got started. Mike Butcher's already made 1 trip to the mound. Can't go back out there, so it has to be one of his teammates to slow him down, give the bullpen a chance.
It becomes a safety issue for Chip Hale when any pitcher throws more than 30 pitches in any one inning. You're asking for trouble. Keon Broxton, especially a guy like Patrick, who's had the Tommy John and has not really, it seemed, pitched at full strength lately. The velocity's been down a bit, and the stuff just has not been as crisp or as sharp as we're used to seeing. Another former D-back draftee, Broxton, 125 and a homer, just called up before this series when Will Middlebrooks went on the DL. Broxton has had 4 different stints with Milwaukee this year. He's been up and down from the minor leagues all season long. 1-1.
Jonathan VR flied out. Hernan Perez grounded out. 2 up, 2 down for Milwaukee. Since then, Braun walked. Lucroy singled. Carter singled. Jeanette walked. Elmore singled. Now Broxton's ahead 2-1. The pitcher Garza on deck. Base hit. The inning will continue. Scooter Jeanette coming on home. The throw, and they got him. Before we go to break, let's take a look. We saw the hand get down there near the plate. Jim Wolf is looking toward the Milwaukee dugout to see if Craig Counsell wants to challenge. Did the hand touch before the glove touched?
It looked like Welly got him on the hip before he got on the plate.
No challenge on the way. Brewers get 3. They lead it 3-2. Trail the Brewers 3-2 as we start the second inning. Greater coverage of baseball, as always, brought to you by T-Mobile. National League West tonight. Rockies lead at Baltimore 6-2. They're in the 5th. The Padres lead at the Rogers Center in Toronto 4-3. They're in the 6th inning there. Later tonight, Chris Archer and Bud Norris. Dodgers have been rumored to be maybe trading for Chris Archer. They've been talking trade with Tampa Bay, so that could be interesting. Matt Cain on the mound for the Giants. They host the Reds. Brandon Drury leads off the second against Matt Garza.
One other game of interest tonight, certainly for people in Chicago, the Cubs and the White Sox, game 2 of that crosstown classic. White Sox won their 3rd consecutive walk-off last night against the Cubs.
They're wearing those throwbacks today, the White Sox, I noticed. I hope they cleared that with Chris Sale.
Well, they don't have to, since Chris Sale won't be in uniform tonight.
Brandon Drury, 264 and 9 homers. He walked in his only plate appearance last night. And they're at third base today. Jake Lamb has been fighting a bruise on his left hand, so he's going to be out of the starting lineup for a few days. Drury swings at that one and misses, and there's the strikeout, the first for Garza. They don't believe it's a DL situation for Jake Lamb. Chip told us that's likely a 3 or 4 day thing, but they've been after him for a while now because he's just not looked right. We talked about this last night, and Chip has repeatedly been after Jake. Are you okay? Are you okay? And Jake just kept saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. But 0 for 19 with 10 strikeouts, and that was saying a different story. And Jake finally admitted last night that, yeah, that bruise is really bugging him. So they want to keep him ready to hit late in the game if they need him, but he will not be able to take 4 or 5 at bats tonight, at least for the next 3 or 4 nights.
I really think it was his last at bat in that first game against Toronto at home against Aaron Sanchez. He got right in his kitchen, really good. And it looked like it jammed him pretty badly. Hit a soft fly ball into center field. He struck out his next at bat, made an out in his final at bat of the ball game, and hasn't had a hit since.
Yeah, he's really struggled lately. So Drury in at third tonight. 0-2 on Corbin. Batting ninth tonight. 14 hits on the year.
Well, that's how easily it can happen in this game. A bone bruise on your thumb, slightly twisted ankle, just a little nagging injury that's not really bad enough to put you on the bench, but certainly enough to keep you from being at 100%.
Well, that's how it started with David Peralta. Remember, it was just a little bruise on the forearm. He got hit a couple of times by Josh Osich of the Giants, and suddenly he had a DL situation. We haven't seen him since. Hurt his back, too. But David has been doing very well. He's going to play at Reno the rest of this week and rejoin the Diamondbacks Friday in LA. Back-to-back strikeouts open up the second for Garza. Michael Bourn in the leadoff spot tonight. Flied out in his first at bat. And hitting leadoff, certainly nothing new for Michael Bourn. Nearly 900 career starts in the leadoff spot, so far more than anywhere else in his career.
I like it.
Still waiting for that first bunt. This is the guy to do it. Perez will come in at third a couple of steps.
If memory serves, I could be wrong on this, but when Matt Garza was pitching for the Cubs, I think it was against the Brewers. He had 8 2/3 innings of shutout baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Got a comebacker to the mound and threw the ball almost into the upper deck.
I remember that game. Yeah, it was not even close. It was 20-30 rows back. Behind on Bourn, 3-0. He has been somewhat high maintenance, Garza. He can be a little bit of a diva, it seems, from time to time. Last year he was just a mess. He was 6-14, and late in the year he actually refused to go to the bullpen. They wanted to get some of their young pitchers some starts, and he said, no, I'm not going. So they sat him down for almost all of September last year. And he's got a 4-year, $50 million free agent deal. That was prior to the 2014 season. It's just not worked out. First year here, he did okay, 8-8, 3.64. He gave them just over 160 innings, but ever since then, it's been kind of a mess. Hold on there, Michael. Oh, that's the pitch that Patrick Corbin did not get. Hey, nice backhand stab right there. Did you ever have a mohawk back in the day in Coshocton?
I kind of have a reverse mohawk right now. Nothing on the top, a lot on the sides and back. Yeah, the mohawks weren't big when I was growing up or today.
And for good reason. They're still not. But Garza's got one going under there. Scooter Gennett at second. So Garza gets the 3-2 lead, gets the shutdown 1-2-3 inning, bottom 2 coming up from Miller Park.
3-2 Brewers lead. Now, whatever time of year it is, Tuesday night, Friday night, there's tailgating going on out here at Miller Park, and it was in full force, guys, today. I went out to the Molitor lot in particular. It's a little bit farther out than all the other lots, but they've got games of cornhole going on out there. They've got burgers, brats, steaks even on the grill. Believe it or not, they have fruits and vegetables out there too, which actually shocked me. But and it's really no matter what the weather is. Right now, of course, reveling in this beautiful weather and the warmth, but they'll do it out there in April, opening day, when it is freezing. And that is how Brewers Nation rolls. I'll tell you what, guys, it's quite a treat.
They do it right here.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of experience.
Smell of brats wafting through the air in the parking lot. 0-2 on Garza, the only Brewer who did not bat in the bottom of the first, and his bat is just shy of the Diamondback dugout as he strikes out.
Matt Garza has had some trouble with the bat in his career, to say the least. 222 career at-bats, 19 hits.
It's not good.
He has drawn 4 walks.
So he's patient. Jonathan Villar flied out to lead off the ball game for the Brewers, and there's the strike. Villar leads the major leagues, 36 stolen bases. Keep him off the bag if you can. Broken bat bloop. Gosselin has it behind the second base bag, and that's the second outing. Boy, Patrick Corbin, if there was ever a guy who needed a nice, quick, tidy 1-2-3 second, it's Patrick after that lengthy first.
Yeah, 1-2-3, and few pitches to get through the 1-2-3.
Hernan Perez grounded out in his first at bat. Just like the first inning, Patrick Corbin got the first 2 he faced. This is where things went south for him in the first inning. Let's see how he does here. 0-1 to Perez. Perez hit 6th in the order last night. He moves up into the 2-hole tonight. And he hits righties and lefties almost equally in terms of batting average, but 4 of his 5 homers this year have come against left-hand pitchers. Comes inside on the hands. Well, that seems to be, Bob, mission 1 for Patrick. He has been belligerent about busting right-hand hitters in tonight.
And every time he leaves one out over the plate, it tends to get hit hard and find a hole. So I think that'd be a good plan of attack against this right-handed heavy Brewers lineup.
That one got away from him, and it's 1-2. Got the strikeout, and he got his quick 1-2-3 inning. 2 punch outs in that inning. Diamondbacks trail the Brewers 3-2. Here in Milwaukee. Hey, fans, you can pick up the third bobblehead of the season coming up. There's our model Chip Hale holding the Zach Greinke bobblehead. That's courtesy of Safelite Auto Glass. The game is coming up Saturday, August 6th against these Brewers at Chase Field. This is a 5:10 start, so get your tickets at dbacks.com for the game August 6th against Milwaukee and get your Zach Greinke bobblehead. Chip was kind enough to model that one before his media session yesterday.
He'd like to be able to model the real thing out there on the mound.
Well, they're very optimistic that he'll be back soon. It looks like by the end of this road trip. And when we get back home, Zach Greinke should be able to pitch sometime in that series against the Nationals, August 1st through the 3rd. That's sort of the target series for his comeback. 1-0 on Gosselin against Garza, who leads off the 3rd. And Phil Gosselin's at it again. That one's going to roll all the way to the wall in right center field. Phil Gosselin, you just can't get him out of the lineup. That's his 9th double. And again, Bob, like you mentioned, he's done a very good job going the other way.
Yeah, he's so patient. He lets that ball get deep into the hitting zone, puts a nice quick swing on it, gets a barrel on it this time, and splits that gap in right center field. That keeps him on the fastball and also keeps him from getting out in front of off-speed pitches. That approach to the middle in the opposite field.
Gosselin hitting .333 in his last 21 games. And he's 1 for 2 tonight. A double leads off the 3rd. For the 3-hole hitter, it's Gene Segura, who doubled and scored his first time up. Just joining us, Jake Lamb not in the lineup tonight. He's got a bruised left hand and likely will not start for the next 3-4 days. So Gene Segura bringing that bat down into the 3-hole, hitting just ahead of Goldie, with Goldie in the cleanup spot. Different look to the lineup tonight. Segura keeps showing bunt, 1-1. There you go.
I'm shocked. I thought it'd be much lower than that.
But we have yet to see a Diamondback attempt to bunt so far. That's chopped to 3rd. Perez looks Gosselin back to the bag and makes a nice throw. They retire Segura. They can't get the runner along. That'll bring up Goldie. Goldie had an RBI single, stole a base, scored a run in his first at bat. Now up to 296 on the year. He had 3 hits last night. So here we go again. Goldie at Miller Park. He's already got 4 hits in the series. Garza had a nice quick 1-2-3 second inning. He had retired 4 in a row before the Gosselin double. But he's at second with 1 out, a 1-0 count on Paul Goldschmidt. Boy, Goldie, when we came here to Miller Park for a 3-game series last May, put on a show. In that series, he went 9 for 14. With 3 doubles, 3 homers, 5 RBIs. He also walked 4 times. I mean, he tore this place apart.
Absolutely. One-man show.
It was something to see. The 2-0 from Garza. Time now for our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Paul Goldschmidt at Miller Park. Highest career batting average here of all time. How about Lastings Milledge, former Met great?
By over 100 points. Wow.
.518 lifetime batting average in this ballpark. In 13 games here, he's got 9 doubles, 7 home runs, and 17 RBIs. The 2-2 from Garza. That's in the glove of Perez at third. Long throw, and he makes a nice play. Hernan Perez, that one was almost by him. And again, the Diamondbacks cannot advance the runner after the leadoff double.
Boy, the Brewers really like Perez and what he brings to the table, both defensively and offensively. When he's not playing third base, occasionally he plays out in right field. Strong arm, almost into foul territory that time to get Paul Goldschmidt at first base.
Perez sort of stumbled into this guy, came over in the middle of last year on waivers from the Tigers, and of course Aramis Ramirez was back and forth, retirement and finishing up in Pittsburgh and all that, and Perez really fit in nicely. Wound up last year settling in at third base. Wellington Castillo an RBI double back in the first, trying to get Gosselin home from second after the leadoff double. Castillo Sunday in Cincinnati had one of the big hits in that Diamondback win, a 3-run homer. His first home run since July 2nd, his 11th of the year. One and two. That's now 50 pitches for Garza, 35 strikes.
These two guys were battery mates in Chicago for the 3 seasons that Matt Garza spent with the Cubs. Wellington Castillo, one of the catchers there in Chicago. That can sometimes work against you. You know, you think you know a guy a little bit because you've been behind the plate catching him and kind of have an idea of how he likes to pitch to hitters, and sometimes you go up there with a preconceived notion of what he's going to try to do, and he might cross you up completely.
Well, he thinks that I'm thinking that I'm going to look for this, so I'm going to look for that.
I'll show him.
You can just get yourself all locked up there. Is drifting toward the seats. Jake Elmore's over there. He's got room. And he makes the catch in foul ground. Phil Gosselin a leadoff double, and he stays there. It's still 3-2 Brewers. Day with the D-backs as Fox Sports Arizona brings you 9.5 hours of Diamondbacks programming. It starts at 1:30 with a local 9, followed by the replay of today's game. Then at 4:30, live coverage of the D-backs and the Brewers. All begins with the Diamondbacks Live pregame show. It's All Day with the Diamondbacks, brought to you by Auto Nation Chevrolet on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs trail at 3-2 as Ryan Braun leads off the bottom of the third against Patrick Corbin. Braun walked and scored his first time up. Diamondbacks got 2 in the top half of the first inning. RBI hits by Goldie and Castillo. Patrick Corbin got the first 2 outs in the home half. And then 6 straight Brewers reached safely. 3 scored. But Patrick bounced back with a 1-2-3 second. Now ahead of Braun 0-2 as we start the third. Patrick Corbin coming off losses in his last 3 starts to the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Blue Jays. All potential postseason teams, so it's not like he's been facing the JVs as of late, but it's been a struggle. Winless in his last 5 starts, and Patrick's ERA over that span is right at 7.5.
Issued 10 base on balls over those 3 starts, including 5 against the Giants.
50 pitches here tonight, 32 for strikes. Bounce that one. Patrick in his previous outing against the Blue Jays last Wednesday seemed to be just missing location. If you look at where some of the balls were on the plate, Chip Hale was saying just too many center cut fastballs. So too many good hitters. There's a good hitter right there who can't check his swing, and Corbin's got his 3rd strikeout. Patrick says he has looked at video a bunch. Doesn't see anything mechanically that different. But right now, even he admits the results just aren't there.
They actually kind of hope it is something mechanical that you can discover on the videotape and correct it and get back to where you want to be. If it's not something mechanical, then you've got issues between the ears.
He wouldn't be the first. He's retired 4 in a row, however, so hopefully trying to settle in here is Lucroy, who singled and scored back in the first, steps in. Jonathan Lucroy's batting average was down to .275 in late May. Since then, however, over his last 47 games, he's hit about .325. He went to the All-Star game this year. Gets a hold of one and hits it deep to left field. Michael Bourn has room, and he's got it at the wall. Those outfield panels are open oftentimes, and we saw this last night. The wind will blow in from left field or left center, and Lucroy didn't get any help that time.
They've got just enough down toward the trademark to keep that ball in the park as Michael Bourn backs right up against the wall to make the catch.
There you see the flags kind of gently blowing in the breeze out there. It was coming in during batting practice. Not much wind right now. Chris Carter. And again, Corbin coming into righties. Missed that time, and it's 1-0. Carter, who was 4 for 35 when he came up in the first, had an RBI single and scored a run. Here's a tapper back to Corbin. And Patrick Corbin has retired 6 in a row. Diamondbacks trail the Brewers 3-2. Milwaukee, fourth inning. Guess what happened on this day 6 years ago?
I bet Matt Garza threw a no-hitter.
Well, you are correct, sir. The only no-hitter in the history of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Geico legacy moment. One walk in the ball game. Otherwise, he had a perfecto that day.
July 26, 2010. At the Trop. Ah, the Trop.
Yeah, that's baseball.
As Manny Tomas will lead off the fourth against Garza. Tomas reached on a Jonathan VR throwing error his first time up. You know, Matt Garza seems like he's put together a fairly impressive big league career, but you can argue that much of it has been more of a mirage. His best season was by far that 2010 season. He won 15 games with the Tampa Bay Rays, but he's lost more games than he's won over his career. He was roughly a .500 pitcher in Tampa Bay and Chicago, and he had losing records in stops with Minnesota and with Texas.
You mentioned the 15 wins in 2010. He won 10 the next year for the Cubs, and then 10 combined for the Cubs and the Rangers in 2013. Those are his only 3 double-digit victory seasons of his career.
And then he got $50 million from the Brewers and went 14-22 in his first 2 seasons here. And he's gone 1-4 in 7 starts this year. Where do you think, and it's no way to evaluate pitchers, people have written books about this, some recently, but where do you think the pitcher win stat, what should we do with that? How much importance or value should we place on pitcher wins?
Well, all I know is good pitchers tend to win games.
I had the same feeling.
You know, I agree that, you know, sometimes it can be a little misleading if a guy gets a victory but gives up 8 runs and his team scores 9 for him. You know, that's one thing, but there's something to be said for guys that get the win. They find a way to keep their team in the ball game and get deep enough in the ball game to qualify to be the winning pitcher. I think that's a stat that maybe will be just completely wiped out of the books at some point, because we're moving closer and closer to that day when you're having a pitcher that goes once through the lineup and out of the game. Bring in a guy from the bullpen, he goes once through the lineup, get him out of the game.
As Manny Tomas showing some uncharacteristic patience, a leadoff walk. Well, Brian Kenny will be happy. He's got a whole hashtag kill the win thing going. BK, he's trying to rule the world from his sabermetric throne high on the mountaintop.
That's number 20 on the season for Tomas.
He's been aboard twice tonight. Here's Chris Owings, who grounded out at his first at bat.
I mean, it almost makes you wonder how long it'll be. Just arbitrarily, the number 100 has become so important for pitchers and pitching coaches. And I would imagine that moving forward, that number will continue to get lower and lower. Oh, my goodness, he's thrown 70 pitches in the game. They better get the bullpen going. So, you know, why not just cut to the chase? Once through the lineup, get him out.
Well, there are a lot of sabermetricians who will tell you that that's the way to do it. Instead of having one starter and 8, 9, 10 bullpen guys, just have 3 pitchers scheduled to go that day.
Yeah.
1 through 9, where each guy gets 1 turn through the order. Theoretically 9 innings. But Rob Manfred said the other day he is considering, and maybe in favor of, in fact, changing the rules on how you use relief pitchers. So it might be that if you come in out of the bullpen, you might have to face more than one guy. None of this matching up, one guy in, one guy out, because it's really jamming up the pace of play. The games are longer this year. They're about 3 hours, 10 minutes, I think. It's almost 15 minutes longer this season than last year, the average game time. And bringing in all these relievers to face one guy is a part of the problem. That's when you're really tinkering with the core of what the game has been.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I can go along with that one. I think if you could just get guys to get in the box, get on the mound, play baseball.
It was never an issue before.
I think we talked about it earlier this season. They showed a highlight from Cal Ripken early in his career, an at-bat that he had where he actually fouled off 2 pitches, and there was never longer than 12 seconds from one pitch to the next, even though he fouled balls out of play. I mean, it's like every pitch and every swing, the World Series is hinging on it. It's Game 7 with 2 outs in the 9th. Come on, get in the box.
Well, here's a good example. CO, he fouls a pitch off. It's just 35 seconds or so with the gloves and the stroll around and the whole thing. Garza standing on the rubber ready to go, just waiting. The ground ball to shortstop. VR. Jeanette for 1. That's all they'll get. And Chris Owings is well within the rules to stroll around like that. Not getting on CO. It's just a good example of how things can just sort of get drawn out. But because he fouled that pitch off, he's within his rights to step out of the box and reset. Brandon Drury. And they're at third base with Jake Lamb sitting out. Jake, a bruised left hand. I think it's likely a 3 or 4 day thing for Lamb. They don't believe it'll be a DL situation, but he won't be in the starting lineup likely for the rest of this series. Brandon gets a hold of one and sends it out to left field. Chris Owings heads into third. Drury hustling into second, and he's in there with a double. 19th double of the year for Brandon Drury. Diamondbacks have something going here. Second and third, only 1 out.
I really think the possible threat of a stolen base there kind of threw Garza out of his rhythm on the mound. He really held that ball for a long time, waiting for somebody to call timeout. And when nobody did, he went ahead and delivered the pitch and hung a slider over the middle of the plate to Brandon. He bangs it down into that left field corner for a double.
Well, the Diamondbacks down a run, got a leadoff double in the third from Phil Gosselin, and Phil was stranded there. They could not even get him over, let alone get him in. So another opportunity here now. The pitcher Patrick Corbin steps up. With Owings at third, Drury at second, and 1 away. Perez comes in from third, Carter from first. Patrick, one of the better hitting pitchers in the National League. 326 on the year. If he can shoot one through the infield somehow, it'll be a 4-3 D-backs lead. Garza's all over the place behind 2-0. Three balls and no strikes. Michael Bourn on deck. Bourn in the leadoff spot tonight. Going to have him take 2 here?
At least 1 for sure.
One's all you'll need. Bases loaded with 1 out. Garza walks the pitcher on 4 pitches. His second walk in this inning. And when a pitching coach sees that, he heads to the mound. Here's Derek Johnson as Bourn steps in. Bases full, 1 down. The way that Patrick has settled in after that extremely dangerous first inning, a a 1-2-3 in the second and the third. If they could get him the lead back, it might change the narrative completely here. Michael Bourn so far has flied out, grounded out 0 for 2. Bases loaded, 1 out. That's 5 straight balls from Matt Garza. Chris Owings is the runner at third. Brandon Drury at second and Patrick Corbin at first. Double play chance here. Jeanette, VR, and Bourn with that good speed beats it out. Owings comes in from third, and the Diamondbacks tie the ball game. Phil Gosselin doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 2.
Another thing that would speed up the game, and this is not a knock on Jonathan Lucroy because we've seen it with every team we've played. We've seen the Diamondbacks do it. This is a first and third situation, so Jonathan Lucroy wants to let the middle infielders and corner infielders know where he's going to throw the ball should Michael Bourn attempt to steal. And he was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting on the Brewers bench to give the sign to Lucroy so he could relay it to his position players.
Well, that's on the coaches.
Yeah.
So they just have to be faster?
Well, I mean, you have to think ahead. It's not necessarily on Craig Counsell. Sometimes a different coach is responsible for the defensive plays and potential double steal situations. But yeah, now apparently they've changed the sign after one pitch.
Saw Pat Murphy in there. He was the interim skipper in San Diego last year. He's Craig Counsell's bench coach in Milwaukee. Gosselin again shoots it the other way. Elmore coming in, and he's got it. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get the equalizer. It's 3-3 at Miller Park. Wisconsin, roof and panels open at Miller Park, where we are tied at 3. Hey fans, nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason on the FS1 New Daily Sports Talk Show. Speak for yourself. It comes your way weekdays at 3 o'clock only on FS1. Scooter Gennett leads off the Brewer fourth against Patrick Corbin. We are tied at 3. Patrick has retired 6 in a row after he was on the ropes and almost knocked out back in the first. Brewers got 3 in that inning. They have not had a base runner since. Right to Goldie, 1 away. Jake Elmore, the former Sun Devil and Diamondback. He's out of Pleasant Grove, Alabama, played at ASU, where he was a 34th round pick by the D-backs in 08. Played 51 games last year in the big leagues with Tampa Bay, hit .206. Elmore, a 2-run single his first time up tonight. He's 4 for 20 on the year. Boy, Bob, he couldn't get anybody out in the first inning. Now he's just mowing them down, going through the order as quick as you please here the second time through.
Really tough to figure. Got those 2 quick outs to start the first inning, VR and Perez, and then a walk, a hit, a walk, a hit, a hit. Just, I don't know, something went south in a hurry in that first inning.
Tough one. It's between Drury and Segura, and Elmore is 2 for 2. That snaps a stretch of 7 straight retired by Patrick Corbin. Keon Broxton, the center fielder. He had a base hit to end the first when Scooter Gennett was thrown out at home plate trying to score. Broxton making his 20th start this season in center field. He's played in just 29 games all year. Keon Broxton, a 3rd round pick by the D-backs in 09. Diamondbacks sold him to the Pirates in March of 2014. Pittsburgh dealt him here to the Brewers last December in a deal for Jason Rogers. Made his big league debut with Pittsburgh last season. Had only 2 at-bats. He's got very good speed.
Notice that setup by Broxton, carries his hands extremely low down near his belt as he's waiting for Patrick Corbin to deliver the pitch, but ultimately gets those hands back in a good hitting position. It's vaguely similar to Gene Segura and the adjustment he made this year, dropping his hands down a little bit lower.
But it looks a lot more pronounced on Broxton, a big, tall, lanky guy at 6'3", 195. Nice strike call from Jim Wolf, and Corbin's ahead 1-2. Elmore takes off for second, and he is out of there. Did not get a good read on that one.
I don't mean to disagree with you. I think he got a real good read. He saw the pitch in the dirt, but didn't realize how quick Wellington Castillo can block and recover, and gets off a quick throw.
I mean, the ball's right in front of Welly there. He didn't even have to move to pick it up.
That's something that so many teams have emphasized to their base runners. If you read the trajectory of the pitch is going to be in the dirt, take off immediately. But you don't anticipate a catcher being as quick back there as Wellington Castillo was.
Well, it's sort of a strike him out, throw him out in one sense as Broxton punches out. It's 3-3 in Milwaukee.
Fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. A day after every D-backs win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com.
3-3 ball game as we start the 5th inning. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson along the way. Gene Segura got a lot of questions last night about his return to Milwaukee. And he admitted that it was, he had a lot of problems over there, is how he put it. Personal-wise, team-wise, contract styles. There were some discrepancies there about what he was worth. And he admitted, he said, I let that team get in my head a little bit. Because in addition to his personal tragedy with the death of his infant son a couple of years ago, he turned down a reported contract extension, 7 years, $40 million, that he thought at the time was not quite keeping in market value with some comparable players. Guys like Andrelton Simmons were getting, closer to $60 million. And that was a sore spot for him. But now he is thrilled to be a Diamondback, and he was gushing about the Diamondbacks after the ball game last night, the way that he's fit in here and the way that they have embraced his style of play. He just said, I can't thank the Diamondbacks enough for the opportunity.
Well, the Brewers' loss is the Diamondbacks' gain. I'm telling you what, this man is really enjoying playing the game of baseball right now, all out, all the time.
He doubled and scored his first time up, grounded out back in the 3rd, 1 for 2. Batting in the 3-hole tonight with Jake Lamb out with that left-hand bruise. First game all season in which Gene has not batted leadoff. That's such a big part of his identity. He loves leading off. He loves to be that guy. And he loves the idea that the Diamondbacks have given him the opportunity to be the kind of player that he wanted to be, that he just couldn't quite get back to being here in Milwaukee. But boy, it's been a great fit with Arizona. Garza went inside but missed it. It's 1-2. Segura has now hit safely in 8 straight games. He is 2nd in the National League in hits, behind only the Nationals' Daniel Murphy. Hernan Perez at 3rd. Goldie's 1 for 2 tonight. He had an RBI single in the 1st. And that hit made it 777 career hits. So he passes Stephen Drew for sole possession of 4th place on the Diamondbacks all-time list. Number 1 is Gonzo. Number 2 is Steve Finley. Number 3 is Miguel Montero. And Goldie is now 4th. Garza's ERA last season 5.63, his highest since his rookie year. That was with Minnesota back in 06, and the ERA is even higher so far this season. It has been a struggle. And just like last year, Garza walking more batters than ever before. He walked 2 in the last inning. And he's a guy who used to put up some fairly impressive strikeout numbers, but this season he's striking out fewer batters than ever before. His 80th pitch of the ball game on the way. The 2-1 to Goldie is hit on the ground as shortstop. Jonathan Villar throws him out, 2 down.
You mentioned Steve Finley a moment ago on that list of all-time hits for the Diamondbacks. Finley just triggered a memory. This is Craig Counsell's daughter Finley's 10th birthday today.
That's how she got her name?
Well, he won't fess up to that, but I think it is.
It's a little obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. Craig and his wife Michelle have 2 boys, Brady and Jack, and 2 daughters, Finley and Rowan. And Finley is here today with some friends and mom Michelle up in one of the suites celebrating her 10th birthday.
He was a big Charlie Finley fan. That's the only
maybe that's it.
Other thing I can come up with. There's a strike to Welly.
There's a pretty good chance you're going to see one or both of those Council boys playing in professional baseball someday. Both of them really good youth athletes.
So they have the same batting stance.
I don't think so.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Do as I say, not as I do.
3 ground ball outs for Garza. 3-3 in the 5th in Milwaukee. Park, the Gig Life high-speed highlights presented by Cox. Patrick Corbin with 2 outs in the first had 6 straight Brewers reach. They got 3 runs, but Bob, since that first inning, he's retired 8 of the last 9 he's faced.
Yeah, we weren't so sure there were going to be any Patrick Corbin highlights in this game after that first inning, but he's done a really nice job of settling in, getting on top of that slider, getting more downward movement, hitting his spots a little bit better. Seems to be in a really good groove right now, and facing Matt Garza to start the inning, that's exactly what you hope for.
He was as on the ropes as you can be in that first. There was action in the Diamondback bullpen. Randall Delgado had started warming up. But boy, ever since then, he has been terrific. Garza struck out his first time up, and Patrick's ahead 0-2. Corbin has walked 2, struck out 4. Make it 5. Both walks coming in that bumpy first inning. A 38 pitch first, but look at those numbers ever since.
Dealing.
38 pitches in 1 inning. That is a ton. That's deep into the red. VR 0 for 2, the shortstop, and the Brewers leadoff man. A major league leader in stolen bases, and they're keeping him off the bags here tonight so far. Shows bunt, bunts it up the first base line. Goldie's there, and he got the tag on the hip. America's first baseman, 2 down.
Now that play was made because Goldie charged that bunt hard. He knew the only chance was to pick up the ball and tag VR before he could get past Goldie, so he gets to that ball as quickly as he can. Takes the angle toward the line. VR is a dead duck. Nice play.
2 down for the third baseman, Hernan Perez, who's 0 for 2. He has grounded out, struck out. Still looking for his first hit in the series. Well, he looks like a different guy out there. Spots that fastball down and away, and he jumps ahead 0-2.
It'll be interesting to see after the ball game if anything was said or if there were any kind of adjustments made after that first inning, because he looks like a completely different pitcher.
Another strikeout for Patrick Corbin. That's 6 in the ball game. He has retired 11 of the last 12 he's faced. We're tied at 3.
Tomas to lead off, walked his last at bat. We continue talking about Tomas the last couple of days because 2 home runs and 4 doubles in his last 6 games. And we talked about the difference on the road and at home. I talked to interpreter and coach Ariel Prieto, helping Tomas each and every day with his transition here to the States last year and now in his 2nd year. He said, yes, he's, quote, worried about the home versus away. So that's why they did change the routine. And guys, you know, Steve, you talked about the difference. He is getting ready at home sooner, closer to game time, going to go out there and jog or get in the cage, just get warm, get ready for the game. Ariel said it actually goes back to the way he prepared in Cuba. BP in Cuba is much shorter, and it's just kind of his comfort to kind of get into a lather right before the game. So, again, it's working on the road, hoping to take it back home.
Thank you, Jody. Tomas leads off the 6th against Garza, who's retired 4 in a row. Here's Yasmani Tomas. He's 25 years old, so he was about, 22, 23 when he signed with the Diamondbacks. So if you're a college baseball player in the United States, an American kid, you're 21 years old, 22 or so, and you're a first-round pick, you get a bunch of money. What happens? You go play in the minor leagues for at least 2-3 years. Well, here's Tomas. He's doing that at this level, trying to learn. And Villar recovers nicely to throw him out. So there has been no apprenticeship at all for Yasmani Tomas. He has been thrown right into the deep end of the pool, where an American kid in that situation would get 3 years out of the limelight to figure it out. He has to do this at this level. Now, that's a lot to ask, especially when you're dealing with all cultural differences as well.
Trying to pick up a new language, new foods, new routines.
I mean, even the top pick in the draft would get at least minimum 2.5, 3 years in the minors coming out of college. Chris Owings.
Well, there are rare cases where guys are high draft picks and they breeze through the minor leagues quickly, maybe start in A ball, quickly move to AA, bump them up to AAA, and then a September call up at the end of the season. But yeah, you're right. For the most part, it takes 2 or 3, sometimes even more minor league seasons until you get to the place where you're a professional baseball player.
Right back to Garza. That's 12 ground ball outs for Matt Garza tonight. He's retired 6 in a row.
Hey fans, a D-backs home run tonight means a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-a-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Yasmani Tomas's minor league apprenticeship lasted not even 2 weeks. He got called up to the big leagues last year. The middle of April, we were at San Diego. And that was it. He's been up ever since, and he is learning on the job. Brandon Drury doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Brandon in there at third base. If you're just getting back from work and joining us, no Jake Lamb tonight. He's got a bruise on his left hand. They think it's about a 3 or 4 day thing. They don't think it's a DL situation, but he likely won't be in the starting lineup for at least the rest of this series. And Jake, who kept insisting the hand was fine, finally gave in and admitted after the game last night that that bruise on the left hand was really bothering him. Chip told us today they do want to keep Jake ready for a late game at bat if it becomes one of those emergency situations. But other than that, they really need to give that hand a rest. 13 ground ball outs for Garza. He's retired 7 in a row. Bottom 6 coming up. We're tied at 3. A lovely night here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Diamondbacks and Brewers tied up at 3-3. D-backs fans introducing Pepsi Moji. Every time you grab an ice cold Pepsi 20-ounce bottle this summer, you'll find a Pepsi Moji on the side of the bottle, and there are hundreds of different designs. So show the world how you feel and what you love with Pepsi Moji. Use the hashtag Say It With Pepsi. Patrick Corbin has retired 11 of the last 12 Brewers he has faced as Ryan Braun leads it off. A big win tonight, BB, for Hot Dog, wire to wire.
We have a 4-game series here and 5 racers in the cased meat sweepstakes. Somebody's going to lose out here. At least one is going to lose out.
It was Polish who won last night. That's number 2, and a win tonight for number 4, Hot Dog. The Clements Racing Sausages at Miller Park. That mascot race may have as much integrity I can't believe I'm using that word, as any mascot race in the business, because sometimes it's like wrestling. There's a script and somebody throws a chair and somebody interrupts the race. Not here. Not here. They race for real. Base hit for Braun to lead off the 6th. No mascot sort of gets distracted or, wanders off. They fire that gun and they go. Jonathan Lucroy.
Many imitators out there, but this is the original. The bacteria race down in Florida.
The amoebas.
The toothbrushes and dental floss. And
Colorado. Yeah, that's
that's
not a good one.
DC, it seems like they had a new president every year.
Yeah, they got like 9 of them now. Teddy finally won, and then they started getting a whole bunch of guys in there. The left-hander Will Smith has started throwing the Brewer bullpen. Patrick Corbin, 80 pitches, 53 strikes. There's ball 1 to Lucroy, who singled and scored in that 3-run Milwaukee first. Here's the Fresh Prince, Will Smith. He's got a 90s night t-shirt night coming up here at the end of this month. Diamondback bullpen is quiet right now. Wellington Castillo out to have a word. Braun a leadoff single. Now Corbin behind on Lucroy 2-0, and Enrique Burgos, as we speak, will start loosening up. Do you have your cream puff yet?
No.
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 Wow, you've got a will of iron tonight.
I don't know. The brats are taking their toll.
I tell you what, if we did 81 games a year here,
Lord.
it's hard to stop eating in this ballpark.
It was about 6 o'clock tonight, and we were up here doing some prep work, and I said, geez, I wish they'd start this game early so I could stop eating.
They take good care of you here. Corbin, a leadoff single, now a 3-1 count to Lucroy.
Makes you wonder how Bob Uecker has stayed so slim and trim all these years.
I don't know how he does it. The brats and the popcorn and the cream puffs. There he is.
There's Uecker. Especially given the fact that he pulls his car right underneath the stadium. They pick him up in a golf cart, drive him to the elevator. He gets no exercise.
He gets exercise shaking hands. He is
he's big.
justifiably so a legend everywhere he goes. One of the greatest of all time.
He's a beauty. I mean, just passing him in the hall here in the press box for a second, and he'll have something funny to say.
Started doing Brewer games on the radio when Bud Selig was the owner here after the team moved from Seattle. And he's been here ever since.
He was part of our 3-man motorcycle gang back in Scottsdale. Uke used to ride a Harley Davidson. And Don Carson, the owner of Don and Charlie's Ribs in Scottsdale, and myself, we all three, crusty old guys, had motorcycles, and we fancied ourselves as a gang.
Did you have a name for the gang?
No. The Bone Chips.
Brotherhood Without Banners. The Bone Chips. That's a great name for a motorcycle gang. Pull up to the early buffet, 445. Here's the Bob Uecker statue high above our position here, section 422 in the last row.
Bingo. Must be in the front row.
That is a hike to get up there. It is. You really have to scale that top deck. It's almost straight up. And with Corbin in trouble, a single and a walk to open up the 6th. He had retired 11 of 12 to start this inning. That's going to bring Mike Butcher out. No, Chip Hale, pardon me, from the dugout. He's had Burgos warming up, and that's going to be it for Patrick tonight. He'll go 5+. He leads in a 3-3 ball game, responsible for 2 Brewer base runners. He did a tremendous job after a very bumpy first inning. So a lot to like from Patrick tonight. But he leaves here in the 6th inning of a 3-3 ball game. Back from Milwaukee after this. Milwaukee 3-3 ball game, bottom 6, and your Arizona Federal Credit Union pitching change brings us the right-hander Enrique Burgos. 15 games this year, a 4.32 ERA. Enrique worked an impressive 1-2-3 7th in Sunday's win at Cincinnati.
He's been really good over his last 8 appearances, totaling 10 innings, giving up only 2 earned runs.
Well, he's got some work to do here. Ryan Braun at second, Jonathan Lucroy at first, and nobody out for big Chris Carter. Carter had an RBI single in the first inning. He's 1 for 2. Carter leads the Brewers in home runs and RBIs. One and one. Chris Carter, a much better hitter here at Miller Park. He's batting .241 at home this year with 16 home runs. He's homered only 6 times on the road, where he's about a .190 hitter. So this ballpark has been a pretty good fit for him. Braun at second, Lucroy at first, nobody out. But wherever he goes, he strikes out. He's leading the National League in strikeouts, and it's 1 and 2. Hard to third. Brandon Drury collects that one, and Phil Gosselin turns it. Enrique Burgos comes in and gets 2 big outs.
Nicely done. Hard hit ground ball right at Brandon Drury down there at third base. Gets rid of it quickly to Phil Gosselin. Boy, that was a very slick double play right there. Drury got rid of it quickly. That gave Gosselin the opportunity to back off that bag and make an accurate throw to first.
Boy, that is just what Chip Hale was looking for. So suddenly now you've got Braun at third and 2 down for Scooter Gennett, who has walked and lined out to first. Jeanette likes to jump on pitches early in counts. Ball one.
Did you see that pause there? Burgos stopped. Wellington stopped. They both thought that pitch was good right there. It's kind of a delay.
Jim Wolf wasn't biting. One and one.
Both those pitches right there, middle of the plate and down. First one was called a ball. Second one fouled out of play.
Yeah, that first one was a pretty nice pitch. Bunts it foul, and Burgos is ahead 1-2. Enrique Burgos, since his latest minor league recall, 8 appearances, he's worked 10 innings, given up just 2 runs on 6 hits. One and two to Scooter Gennett. .96 missed, and it's 2-2. Rays and Dodgers just underway in LA. A little bit later, the Giants hosting the Reds. The shortstop, that's off the glove of Segura. Braun comes in and scores, and it's 4-3 Brewers. The RBI for Scooter Gennett. A tough play for Gene at shortstop.
Ball slicing away from Segura the entire time. He made that dive, and the ball really took a big hop, much bigger hop than he was anticipating. Tried to come up with the glove at the last instant, but just couldn't quite get it.
Here's Jake Elmore, who's 2 for 2 tonight. A couple of singles, he's knocked in 2 runs.
Good first pitch slider again from Burgos. Did not get the call on Scooter Gennett. He does get the call this time on Jake Elmore. Boy, if he can start throwing that pitch for called strike one, jump ahead in the count, that makes that fastball play even bigger and faster.
Scooter Gennett 5 for 6 in his stolen base attempts this year. And he takes off for second. Castillo has the ball go off his glove, and Jeanette is in there with his 6th steal.
Good jump by Scooter Jeanette over there at first base, and just an overthrown high fastball here. Wellington can't quite get to it in time. That ball ends up going all the way to the backstop. Phil Gosselin did a nice job of just holding his ground there at second base and making Jeanette think that the throw was coming into the bag. Jeanette went into the head first slide, couldn't advance any further.
1-1 count on Elmore with Jeanette in scoring position and 1 run already in. Brewers have a 4-3 lead now. Fastball in there at 96, and it's 1-2 on Jake Elmore. "30 games for the D-backs in 2012, Jake Elmore. With Tampa Bay last season, now here in Milwaukee. A whole lot of stops in between. Burgos bringing the heat. It stays 1-2.
The old joke about guys like Jake Elmore, he's got a garage full of duffel bags. Every time you move from one team to another, they pack up all your stuff out of your locker, stick it in a duffel bag, you take it with you, move on to the next city or go home, whatever the case may be, and you end up with a whole bunch of duffel bags out in the garage.
Diamondbacks, Astros, White Sox, Athletics, Reds, Pirates, Rays, and now the Brewers. That is a lot of duffel bags. Will Smith, the left-hander, is ready in the Brewer bullpen. Diamondbacks will have the pitcher spot leading off the 7th.
Sneaking up on that 9 spot in the Brewers order, and Zach Curtis is cranking it up for the Diamondbacks. All the thunder for the Brewers off the bench from the left side tonight. Neuenhuis, Flores, and Wilkins. And with that in mind, Chip gets his lefty up just in case we get down to that 9 spot and you see a left-handed pinch hitter.
Another 1-2 pitch to Jake Elmore. Burgos finally wins the battle, but Scooter Jeanette gets the 2-out single. The Brewers get the lead. Diamondbacks trailing 4-3. Diamondbacks trailing 4-3. Hey fans, join the D-backs for the Healthcare Appreciation Games August 25th and August 28th. Get a limited edition D-backs scrub top and game ticket. This special ticket pack is only available at dbacks.com/healthcare. New pitcher for the Brewers on in relief of Matt Garza, the left-hander Will Smith. He was on the DL earlier this year with a sprained right knee. The last work in their game Sunday against the Cubs, came in and did not retire a batter. Wound up taking a loss in that ball game. So he comes in 1-3 with a 3.86 ERA. And the pitcher spot will lead it off the Diamondbacks. We'll see Ricky Weeks Jr. hitting for Enrique Burgos. Nice round of applause for the longtime Brewer Ricky Weeks Jr. hitting .239 with 5 home runs. Boy, nobody embraces Teal Tuesdays like Ricky Weeks Jr. Check out those kicks. Ricky, who had 2 hits and an RBI in his start Sunday in Cincinnati, got another start here last night in left field. Had a couple of walks and scored a run. Drafted 2nd overall by the Brewers back in '03 out of Southern University.
Played his whole Brewers career as a second baseman, but not your prototypical second baseman. This guy's built like a linebacker.
Yeah.
He is thick and strong.
Kind of in that Gary Sheffield mold.
Yeah.
Ricky, 47 plate appearances as a pinch hitter this year. He's batting .179. Diamondbacks have been out hit 7-5. They trail it 4-3. Called strike 3. Will Smith rings it up, 1 away.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Michael Bourn in the leadoff spot tonight. Had a fielder's choice RBI his last time up. Michael's hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games. Had a base hit last night. Now they try to bunt. Will Smith is on it, spins and throws it away. Bourn will break for second. And he's got a hustle in there. He's in there. Michael Bourn. Well, they waited until Garza came out of the game to attempt a bunt. That's not what you had in mind.
No, not at all. Smith bare hands and fires all in one motion that time. Chris Carter is not the most agile first baseman in the big leagues, and just couldn't quite get down there in time to keep that ball out of foul territory. Michael turned the corner, ends up at second base.
Well, they put another error up on the board for the Brewers. Their second of the ball game. That's a single and an error on Smith, the pitcher, that puts Bourn at second base for Phil Gosselin. Gosselin doubled in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3.
Just a little bit of a cross up there.
Bullpen is really busy. Couple of right-handers. Randall Delgado on the left and Jake Barrett on the right. Garvin Alston, the bullpen coach, in the middle. Delgado was warming up in the first inning when the Brewers had Patrick Corbett on the ropes before he got out of it and went on to pitch a nice ball game after that. Good take by Phil Gosselin. He's ahead, 2 balls and a strike.
And you may ask yourself, why 2 right-handers warming up at the same time? Well, I would guess that if the score stays the way it is, it would be Randall Delgado. If the Diamondbacks tie it up or take a lead, it would probably be Jake Barrett.
I'll buy that.
You know, Buck Showalter, the former manager of the Diamondbacks, now with the Baltimore Orioles, he used to be a proponent for 3 bullpen mounts.
Off the glove of VR, Bourne is going to have to stay put.
And it really makes a lot of sense when you think about it. If you want to play matchups, you want a righty and a lefty, and if you stay behind in the game, you want your long guy, Randall Delgado in this case, so you really should have that 3rd mound down there.
I think relief pitchers may protest. Guys would get hot a little too often, especially with Buck at the controls.
Michael's getting a lot of room out there at second base.
He just had a play on, and Will Smith almost threw it into center field. He's already had 1 throwing error in this inning. That put Bourne at second base. 2 balls and a strike on Gosselin. Trying to get that tying run home. He slaps it the other way. Carter is there for the backhander. Going to have to hustle to the bag. And he gets there just in time. Bourne into 3rd now, 2 outs.
Oh, thank goodness no damage done down there at first base. Have you ever watched that racing when they do a figure 8? And when you come to the intersection,
the dirt track stuff,
you've got to be aware of where the other cars are. Well, this is one collision you don't want to lose. Chris Carter running full speed toward the bag. Phil Gosselin trying to leg it out. Boy, that had the potential to be a nasty collision right there.
Nothing against Phil, but he would have lost.
I'm afraid so.
Diamondbacks have got to find a way to get that tying run home from 3rd with 2 outs. Gene Segura doubled and scored. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Gene now with an 8-game hitting streak, batting in the 3-hole tonight with no Jake Lamb. Oh, and 2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Looks like Tyler Thornburg, the right-hander, is warming up in the Brewer bullpen. Full count, 3-2. There's Tyler Thornburg. Goldie on deck. He walked him. comes Craig Counsell to have a chat with Jim Wolf. He's going to bring his right-hander in, Thornburg, to face Goldschmidt with 2 on and 2 out. We'll take a break from Miller Park. Diamondbacks trail at 4-3. Seventh inning at Miller Park, but they have a 2-out threat going for the new pitcher. It's the right-hander Tyler Thornburg. Don't forget, fans, mark your calendars. The 6th annual alumni game on Saturday, August 27. This year's alumni game starts at 2:30, and then the ball game against the Reds. So be sure to get there early and get your D-backs batting practice pullover. That's courtesy of Sanderson Ford. The 6th annual D-backs alumni game coming up Saturday, August 27th. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/alumni. Tyler Thornburg, 54 strikeouts in just under 40 innings. He's on to face Paul Goldschmidt. With Michael Bourne at third, Gene Segura at first, and 2 outs. Kirk Nieuwenhuis takes over in right field, replacing Jake Elmore. He'll bat 9th, pitcher spot 7th in the Brewers order, and there's strike 1. Goldie singled, stole a base, scored a run, had an RBI in the first. 1 for 3. Got that strike call with that same pitch.
Thornburg had a run of 15 consecutive scoreless appearances from the middle of May till the middle of June. This guy can be a handful out there.
Couple of front door breaking balls. He's ahead 0-2. Fastball missed in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bourne reached on a bunt single with 1 out in the inning, went to second on a throwing error by the pitcher Will Smith. A ground ball by Gosselin got him to third. Segura walked. And here we are, 2 on and 2 out, a 1-2 count to Goldie. In the seats and out of play. This is the guy you want up a .518 lifetime batting average in this ballpark. Already with 4 hits in the series, all singles. Excuse me, check swing. That's not going to get it done. Carter can't handle it. Bourne comes in to score, and we're all tied. It worked out for Goldie.
Goldie finally got the curveball he saw early in the sequence. 2 high breaking balls here to get called strikes to start the sequence. Comes in with a fastball. Goldie fouls off the next fastball. Then Thornburg tries to go back to that curve. Actually a real good pitch off the outside corner and down. Goldie with a check swing off the glove of Chris Carter to drive home a run.
Not sexy, but effective. 4-4 ball game now. They find a way to get that runner home from third. Each team now with 7 hits, and the inning continues for Wellington Castillo, who had an RBI double in the first. Thornburg's got that big curveball. He can throw mid-90s fastball. Tyler Thornburg on a Charleston Southern, the 3rd round pick by the Brewers in the 2010 draft. To third, Hernan Perez has it. They go the short way for the force on Goldie, and that's the inning. But the Diamondbacks get the equalizer. We stretch at Miller Park in a 4-4 ball game. Park, Milwaukee 4-4 as we start the bottom of the 7th inning, the second of a 4-game series. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Game 3 tomorrow night. Archie Bradley on the mound for the Diamondbacks and Jimmy Nelson for the Brewers. That's a 5:10 start back home, the great state of Arizona. Diamondback Live pregame show comes your way at 4:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. New pitcher for the D-backs, the right-hander Jake Barrett. 41 appearances, a 2.80 ERA. He pitched a scoreless inning both Saturday and Sunday in Cincinnati.
He's actually pitched himself into a more vital role in that Diamondbacks bullpen. He's been really good as of late. 10 straight scoreless appearances since June 29th.
Yeah, during that time, he's given up only 6 hits. He'll face Keon Broxton to lead off the Brewers' 7th. Four 7-0 for the Diamondbacks, 4-7-2 for Milwaukee. Broxton singled in the first. He's 1 for 2. Jake Barrett comes in and strikes him out.
A couple of wicked sliders to end that sequence there. Oh. Sharp and late and a lot of downward movement on that slider.
First at bat tonight for Kirk Nieuwenhuis. Singled and struck out twice last night. .210 on the year with 8 home runs. He homered 3 times this past weekend here at Miller Park against the Cubs. Jake Barrett throwing strikes. That's a fair ball over the bag at first, and it kicks off the seats as Manny Tomas picks it up, fires into second, and the throw is way offline. So Nieuwenhuis stays put with a 1-out double. Boy, that was an absolute rocket over the bag.
Really rolled that top hand over. Goldie playing as close to the line as you'll ever see him play. Still couldn't get to it. That ball took a funny carom off the sidewall. An accurate throw. They may have had a shot at him at second base. Throw was wide of the bag at second. Fortunately, Brandon Drury back in the play up. Kept Nieuwenhuis at second base.
Well, he's the go-ahead run with 1 away for the leadoff man, Jonathan Villar. Villar 0 for 3. He doubled and homered last night, .294 on the year. Nieuwenhuis takes off for third, and they got him by a mile.
Oh, thank you.
Kirk freaking Nieuwenhuis at it again. What happened there, Hank?
I mean, I get the idea. You're trying to get to third base with 1 out in the inning, but you've got a left-handed hitter at the plate, a clear throwing lane for Wellington Castillo, and to compound the entire situation, Nieuwenhuis didn't get a great jump. He was kind of flat-footed as Jake Barrett delivered that ball. I mean, thank you.
And they're actually going to challenge this. The headsets are coming on. Jim Wolf, the plate umpire. Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, is at third, and Craig Counsell will challenge.
Well, that's how the game has changed. In years past, when the ball beats the runner by that much, it didn't matter if you tagged him or not. You're out.
You're out because you should be.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if they did one of these swim moves around the glove of Brandon Drury. Brandon Drury picked the glove up and then sort of leaned out forward, trying to bring the glove to the runner instead of letting the runner come to the glove. And in bringing that glove up, there is room for doubt, although not much, because the call on the field is out.
That didn't take long.
Not at all.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point. The runner is trying to get to third base. That's where your tag should go, in front of the base. You start chasing the runner and they start doing those swim moves and all these crazy slides we've seen lately, and you're not going to get the outs you should get. Take the tag to where the runner is going, not where he is.
Brewers run into a big out there here in the 7th inning. A gift for the Diamondbacks. 2 down, nobody on, a 1-0 count on Villar. Something about Kirk Nieuwenhuis and the Diamondbacks. You never know what's going to happen.
That's an example of the old saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. The Brewers have more steals than anybody else in baseball this year, but occasionally it'll bite them.
That one was made out of Valerian steel. Two and two on the Brewers shortstop. Gene Segura. Well, with a little help from the Milwaukee bench, Jake Barrett is through the 7th in a 4-4 ball game. Miller Park in Milwaukee, our Gila River game summary. Diamondbacks got 2 in the top half of the first. RBIs by Goldschmidt and Castillo. Patrick Corbin really had trouble in the first, gave up 3, but settled in nicely after that. And we're tied at 4 as we start the 8th inning. Yasmani Tomas will face the Brewer right-hander Tyler Thornburg, who threw a lot of curveballs up there when he came in to face both Goldie and Castillo. And you and I, Bob, were thinking the same thing. What if he hangs one to Tomas right here?
First pitch fastball.
First pitch swing by Tomas, and it's 0-1. Yasmani has reached on an error, walked, and grounded out. Tomas with 9 hits in his last 6 games. 6 of those hits for extra bases. And he sends one to right center. A leadoff single for Tomas. The good road trip continues for Yasmani. That's his 7th hit on this road trip. A chance for Chris Owings. CO getting the start in center field tonight. 0 for 3 so far. Chris Owings in center. Michael Bourne is in left. There was news on David Peralta today, with the outfield in a state of flux right now. Owings shows bunt, pulls back, takes a strike. The Chip told us today that Peralta played for Reno at Las Vegas last night. He'll play a few more games at Reno this week, and he will rejoin the Diamondbacks Friday as we start a series in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. So Peralta back Friday. Owings shows bunt, fouls that one off, and it's 0-2. Can't move the runner over. So good to have the freight train back on the tracks later this week. Chris Owings just came back over the weekend in Cincinnati from his minor league rehab. Boy, he was tearing it up with the Reno Aces. 11 for 18, a double, a triple, and a home run. He had knocked in 6. Coming off that plantar fasciitis in his left foot. That's a foul ball. Oh, it just missed both the bag and Gary Cederstrom down there.
Trying to watch the flight of that baseball down the third baseline while you're getting out of the way at the same time.
Yeah, that was tricky. Some quick footwork.
Yeah, no argument from anybody. Ball was hit hard right down the stripe. It's where it goes over the bag down there at third, not where it lands after it passes the base. And appeared that ball was in foul territory. Good call once again by Gary Cederstrom.
You're gushing at this point. This is getting embarrassing.
I get so few opportunities to do it. When I see good work by an umpire, I will compliment him.
Well, it's nice to consider both sides of the story. That's all. No agendas up here. Not really.
Not much. Thornburg with that big curveball we've seen tonight. He's only thrown one wild pitch all year. You would think a guy that throws a big 12-6 yacker like that would have bounced a few past his catchers.
He's got a lot of faith in it, it would seem. He came on in a big spot to face Goldie. First two pitches were curveballs for strikes.
There's another curveball.
Again, a front door curveball for a strike. He's been going there all night long against right-handers, and it's working for him.
Well, he throws hard enough that you have to respect that fastball, and when he drops the curve on the inside part of the plate, most of the time it just freezes that right-handed hitter. And then that late movement down and in, just enough to catch the inside corner, according to Jim Wolf.
So one away now for Brandon Drury, who doubled in the fourth. Big cut by Brandon, and it's 0-1. Fastball misses upstairs. 1-1 on Brandon Drury. Pitcher spot is due up next for the Diamondbacks, and Mike Freeman is in the on-deck circle. Well, you've got to get Mike Freeman that first big league hit before Friday, because Friday might be Cinderella time when Peralta comes back. And again, that's in there for a strike. He is living in there. Lucroy wants it down and away. Curveball, and he got him.
Hey fans, follow Arizona Diamondbacks baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video, highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
Eric Johnson going to come out and have a word with Tyler Thornburg as Mike Freeman comes up. And he will hit for the pitcher, Jake Barrett. Mike Freeman 0 for 7, 3 strikeouts and a base on balls. Called up from AAA Reno last weekend when they lost Chris Herman to a hamstring injury. 317 at AAA Reno this year with 1 homer. And still looking for that first big league hit. Yasmani Tomas, the runner at first, 2 outs. Mike Freeman out of Orlando, Florida, played his college ball at Clemson. Diamondbacks got him with an 11th round pick in the 2010 draft. 1-1. Brewers will have their big hitters coming up bottom of the 8th inning. Perez, Braun, and Lucroy. Carter behind him. 2, 3, and 4. Daniel Hudson appears ready in the Diamondback bullpen. Fastball missed, and it's 2-2. So Hudson will get the heart of the order in the Brewer 8th. Check this swing. No, Gary Cederstrom, and Freeman has worked the count full 3-2. We'll get Tomas started from first base. Anything in a gap will give the Diamondbacks a chance to take the lead. There goes Yasmani, and Freeman fouls it back to the screen. We'll do it one more time.
A lot of room in that gap in right center field. Love to see Mike Freeman split that gap. Watch Yasmani Tomas run the bases.
Yeah, Neuenhuis, the right fielder, barely in your picture there. One more time on 3-2. Tomas takes off, ball 4. Good at bat by Mike Freeman. Diamondbacks have 2 on and 2 out for Michael Bourn. Got to be tough to remain disciplined when you're trying to get that first major league hit and time may be running out for you.
Yeah, especially like we talked about the other day for Mike Freeman, a guy that was playing every day down at Reno, getting 4 or 5 at bats every day. Come to the major league level, which you're ecstatic to do, but you know, your at bats are few and far between, and usually against pretty good relief pitchers late in the ball game.
So here we go with Michael Bourn, 2 on and 2 out, 4-4 game in the 8th inning. In the dirt for ball 1. Brewers bullpen will really get cranked up now. A couple of right-handers warming up down there. Lane Boyer and Jeremy Jeffress, whose name has been thrown around a lot in trade deadline discussions. That's out of play. Michael had an RBI ground out in the 4th, a bunt single his last time up. He's hit safely now in 8 of his last 10 games. One and 2. Boy, Thornburg can really throw those breaking balls for strikes. He's thrown 30 pitches in this inning.
Dave McKay with a reminder to Yasmani Tomas, when there's 2 strikes and 2 outs, You start running as soon as the batter starts swinging. You don't wait to see what happens. Go ahead and take off. If it's a foul ball, no damage done. If it's a fair ball, you score easily. There's no reason to hold your ground on a 2-strike swing with 2 outs in the inning.
Thornburg gets the strikeout, his 3rd in this inning, and he strands 2. Bottom 8 coming up from Milwaukee. It's 4-4. Milwaukee, bottom 8 coming up, a 4-4 ball game. The D-backs and the Brewers, and the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Daniel Hudson. 41 appearances for Huddy this year, a 5.15 ERA. He last worked Saturday at Cincinnati, 1 scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts, so that was encouraging for Daniel.
Yeah, just trying to work his way back to be the Daniel Hudson we expected him to be. It has been a long dry spell for Daniel, making a lot of mistakes up over the heart of the plate. His slider deserted him at times. Had a lot of bad luck while he was on the mound. Hopefully he's turned the corner.
Well, he gets the sharp end of the stick in the Milwaukee 8th. Hernan Perez, Ryan Braun, and Jonathan Lucroy, 2, 3, and 4 due up with Chris Carter batting 5th. Scooter Gennett 6th. So this is a big inning for Hudson. 4-4 in the 8th. Perez so far hitless in the series. He's 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts. .97 from Huddy, and it's 1-1. Another one is slap foul. Base hit. It skips off the top of the mound and into center, a leadoff single for Hernan Perez, his first hit in the series.
Back middle of the plate sliders. He got away with the one that Perez fouled off to the right side. Came right back with a slider again, stayed over the heart of the plate, and this time Perez grounds it back up the middle for a base hit.
Been a good series for Ryan Braun. He had 2 hits and walked twice last night. A walk and a single tonight. He scored 2 runs. He's now hit safely in every game since the All-Star break, 11 straight.
Whereas 14 out of 17 on the season, stolen base attempts. You wouldn't figure this to be a run situation. Of course, I didn't think Kirk Neuenhuis was going to run either.
Yes. Fastball missed at 97. It's 1-0. The reason being, you just want to give your best hitter a chance to hit, right?
Yeah, you got your 2 best hitters coming up to the plate in Braun and Lucroy, both guys capable of leaving the ballpark.
Perez holds it first. Fastball missed, and Huddy's behind 2-0. .97 in there for strike 1.
Oh, what
Ryan
a pitch.
Braun didn't like it.
Ooh, what a pitch right there. 2-0 count to a dangerous hitter with a lot of pop. He dots that outside corner at the knees.
Nothing that anybody could do with that pitch.
Nope. Nothing good anyway. Diamondbacks defensively in the outfield all the way around, playing in that no doubles defense, very, very deep, which is the appropriate thing to do in this situation. However, if a ball happens to roll through the infield, you really have to charge hard, because Perez could very easily go first to third on a single.
Two 1 pitch. Just inside. 3 balls and a strike on Ryan Braun with Lucroy on deck. In there for a strike.
Looked like Braun was taking all the way right there. 3-1 pitch. Very unusual for one of your middle of the lineup RBI guys to take a 3-1 fastball right down the middle of the plate.
Braun has cut down on his strikeouts this year. Full count, 3-2. Perez takes off, and the pitch is inside for a ball. A single and a walk open up the Brewer 8th, and here comes their all-star catcher. Well, this is the way it has gone for Daniel Hudson for the most part as of late. Huddy in his last 11 appearances has given up 21 runs on 24 hits. Mike Butcher, Zach Curtis warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. You've got a couple of right-handers coming up in Lucroy and Carter, then the left-hand hitting Scooter Gennett behind Carter. Pitcher's spot is after that. Boy, Ryan Braun has had 8 plate appearances in this series. He's reached safely 7 times. He's at first. Hernan Perez at second. Nobody out for Lucroy. Lucroy has single walk, scored a run, 1 for 2. And the Luke chant start here at Miller Park. Fastball in there for strike 1.
Anything you can do to shorten that lead out there at second base. Try to keep Perez as close as possible. Limit his chances of scoring on a base hit. You see Phil Gosselin playing very close to the bag, kind of jockeying Perez back to the base.
The 0-1 pitch. That's fouled away, and it's 0-2. Gosselin at second, really hanging around that second base bag. Trying to keep Perez close. Big hole on the right-hand side of the infield.
Lucroy, kind of a rare bird in Major League Baseball, a cleanup hitter that chokes up about a half an inch or so on the bat.
Well, he's got 2 strikes on him, and Huddy's in there throwing 96, 97. Joey Votto, we saw, does that a lot in Cincinnati, where we just were. Struck him out. Out number 1 for Huddy. And now he'll work to Chris Carter.
It looked like the straight changeup that time from Daniel Hudson. Lucroy had seen the fastball. He'd seen the slider. So show him something he hasn't seen yet.
Chris Carter, the National League strikeout leader. He's 1 for 3 tonight. An RBI single in the first. He's twice grounded out, once into a double play. Perez at second. Braun at first, 1 out. Ball 1. Chris Carter leading the Brewers in home runs and RBIs. Perez really wandering well off that second base bag. He's got happy feet back there. Fastball missed in, 2-0. Carter just 5 hits in his last 38 at bats. Can't get that pitch in there, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. The left-hand hitting Scooter Gennett is in the on-deck circle. Zach Curtis ready in the Diamondback bullpen. The bases are loaded. Second walk in the inning issued by Daniel Hudson. They have the left-hander ready. Gennett coming up. Although twice in Cincinnati, Zach Curtis was brought in to face Joey Votto and Jay Bruce back-to-back. The first time he walked them both. The second time he walked Votto, then struck out Bruce with the bases loaded, so he's by no means a sure thing. Just because it's a lefty-lefty matchup, you might be better off by letting Huddy get his way out of this one.
Well, I'm sure all those thoughts cross Chip Hale's mind as he's sitting over there in that third base dugout. Not only Scooter Gennett at the plate right now, but you're going to get a left-handed pinch hitter for the pitcher spot due up next should we get that far.
Scooter Gennett has walked. He's got an RBI single. Andy Wilkins, who hit a long home run last night, is on deck. Hernan Perez at third. Ryan Braun at second and Chris Carter at first. 1 out. Tie game in the bottom of the 8th. Gennett sits safely in 5 straight. 1-1.
Back-to-back straight changeups to start the sequence. First one out of the zone for a ball. Second one gets a swinging strike here from Gennett. Geared for 97, 98, way out front that time.
In the air and headed for the seats behind the Diamondback dugout. Perez almost getting a running start at third, trying to distract Daniel Hudson perhaps. He'll make a full break for it, run 3 or 4 steps and then stop down that third baseline. Trying to create a distraction.
Maybe the first time in his life Daniel Hudson's ever thrown 3 straight changeups.
Jeanette is a very aggressive swinger. Maybe try to use that aggression against him. He's done well with the bases loaded this year. Base hit. It drops in there. Perez scores. Braun right behind, and it's 6-4. Boy, Daniel Hudson has got to feel absolutely snake bit. Just a squib shot that hung up there, and it landed right in no man's land between Goslin and Segura.
Jam shot after 3 straight changeups. He gets in on the hands of Scooter Gennett with that fastball. Just a little blooper. Phil Goslin playing at normal depth probably gets to that ball, but just enough to get into shallow center field for a 2 RBI base hit.
And here comes Chip Hale. You've got the left-hand hitting Andy Wilkins coming up for the pitcher's spot, and Zach Curtis in the bullpen. We'll take a break from Miller Park. Diamondbacks trail at 6-4.
In the bottom half of the 8th inning, Scooter Gennett with a little jam shot floater. This was last night against Dominic Leone. He took a full swing, hit a little pop-up behind the mound. Nobody could get to it. Gene Segura and Dominic Leone collide out there. It goes as an infield hit for Scooter Gennett. And then tonight, very similar, a little deeper this time, just past the bag at second base to drive home too. And this is the same guy that hit a ball off the scoreboard in center field.
Well, Daniel Hudson made a good pitch. 53 miles an hour off the bat. Huddy's got to just be kicking himself because he did what he wanted to do. He made a good pitch, and Gennett fought it off. Here's Andy Wilkins, who had a long home run, his first major league home run in the ball game last night. Zach Curtis on. 2 on, 1 out, 2 runs in, and there's a strike 0-1. This was Wilkins last night. His first big league homer off Dominic Leone. Just 10 at bats in 11 games with Milwaukee, and that's his only hit. Mentioned this in a ball game last night. The numbers on Zach Curtis, a 4.85 ERA, his 20th appearance. Andy Wilkins from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the same hometown as Archie Bradley. Wilkins was a couple of years ahead of Archie at Broken Arrow. They never played together, but Archie was telling us before the ball game yesterday that Wilkins is a local legend. He hit some absolute moonshot tape measure home runs in high school at Broken Arrow, and they were still talking about it when Archie Bradley got there. But this time he strikes out. Zach Curtis comes in, gets his man, 2 down. There's Archie Bradley. They both played at Broken Arrow High School in Oklahoma, not together, however. Mike Butcher out to the mound now. Archie was diagramming the field. He said the high school field was here, and then there was a building, and then there was a playground, and this guy Wilkins would hit it over the building and onto the playground. Wilkins went on to play at the University of Arkansas, and Archie was a first-round pick by the Diamondbacks.
I remember playing in Reno at the old stadium back when I played in the Pacific Coast League, and there was a warehouse that was built behind the right field wall extending away from the baseball field, and there were big air vents on the roof of this factory. And I can still remember guys talking about it. You home run off the 3rd vent, and you stand there at home plate and look at it and go, there's no way anybody ever hit a ball that far.
Oh, Andy Wilkins is a legend in Broken Arrow for some of his long homers. Keon Broxton, 2 on and 2 out. Broxton singled in the first inning. He has struck out twice, 1 for 3. Former Diamondback draft pick. His 20th start this year in center field for the Brewers. He's been up and down from the minor leagues 4 times this year. Back and forth from AAA Colorado Springs. Cue shot, and that one stays foul, fortunately. But he's going to need a new bat. Broxton, a 3rd-round pick by the Diamondbacks in the 2009 draft. He was sold to the Pirates. 3rd-round pick out of Santa Fe Community College in Gainesville, Florida back in 2009. What is going on there?
Well, they say you see something you've never seen before every day you come to the ballpark, and it's true in that case.
Looks like one of those things that you put condiments on the table and kind of spin around.
Hey, Lazy Susan.
Spin me over the mustard. Right behind Ed Cedar at 3rd, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Keon Broxton. Zach Curtis came on, got the strike out of Wilkins. Now a 2-strike count on Broxton. Try and get out of this bottom of the 8th inning. Diamondbacks in the top of the 9th will have Goslin, Segura, Goldie 2, 3, and 4. Full count, 3 and 2. Carter at second, Jeanette at first. 2 outs, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Zach Curtis. He walked him. The bases are loaded for Nieuwenhuis. Nieuwenhuis checked into the ball game midway through as part of a double switch and doubled in his first at bat. Hit a rocket over the first base bag. And he's up here with the bases full of Brewers and 2 outs. We showed you this last night. This is kind of remarkable. Kurt Neuenhuis home and away. 308 at Miller Park, a $116 on the road. He's hit 7 of his 8 home runs here.
He'd make a great platoon partner with Yasmani Tomas.
He would. Well, Neuenhuis wouldn't even have to make the trips.
Yeah.
Wellington Castillo with the bases loaded.
Reach way out there into the right-handed batter's box.
Didn't get the call from Jim Wolf, but it's 2-1. Neuenhuis will take you deep. He homered 3 times here over the weekend against the Cubs. Brewers in the midst of a long homestand. They have the Pirates coming in this weekend. Well, now Zach's in trouble behind 3-1. In a run, 7-4 Milwaukee. The 4th walk in this inning issued by Diamondbacks pitchers.
White Sox beat the Cubs tonight. Big game James, 7 2/3 innings of shutout baseball.
That's his first big game in quite a while.
Yeah. Mentioned that the White Sox walked off the Cubs last night. And now taking the first 2 games of that Crosstown Classic. Now they move to Wrigley for the next 2.
Was that fun, that series?
Yeah, Wrigley, yeah. It got a little scary on the south side.
Why?
When they played night games over there and people had all day to prep for the big game, if you know what I mean. Whew.
Before we here make our picks to click, you at home make yours. 9th man to bat in the Brewer 8th, Jonathan Villar. 0 for 4 tonight.
Well, I mean, those are fastballs that he's missing that far off the plate, inside the right-handers, away from left-handers. Make an adjustment.
Diamondback pitchers tonight have walked 7, 4 of them in this 8th inning. Hard to third, and it's under the glove of Drury. Jeanette scores. Here comes Keon Broxton. 2 more runs in for the Brewers. A 2-run single for Jonathan Villar. And Milwaukee has batted around in the 8th.
It's a hard ground ball that gets by Brandon Drury down there at third base. Boy, and once again, you get your defense standing around out there watching ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. They tend to get back on their heels just a little bit. Don't react quite as quickly as they might if you're in the strike zone.
Another rough night for the Diamondback bullpen. It was a tie ball game. Now it's 9-4 Milwaukee. Back from Miller Park in a moment. Diamondbacks trail at 9-4. New pitcher for the D-backs, the right-hander Randall Delgado. 43 appearances, a 4.22 ERA. Randall gave up a home run to the first batter he faced, Tucker Barnhart. And he came on to start the 6th inning Friday in the opener against the Reds. It's turned into a 5-run Milwaukee 8th. They have batted around. Hernan Perez, who led off the inning with a single, is up there now to face Delgado. 2 on, 2 out, 5 runs in. I saw that the Padres moved Melvin Upton Jr. today. Traded him to the Blue Jays while the Padres were in Toronto. So one of those deals where you just walk across the field to the other clubhouse.
Change uniforms. Upton got in the game as a pinch hitter. 0 for 1, left a couple runners on base. Josh Donaldson with another home run tonight, number 25 on the season.
The bringer of rain. Dodgers are leading Tampa Bay 2-0 at Dodger Stadium. Rockies won in Baltimore. They beat the Birds 6-3. Giants are leading the Reds 5-1 at AT&T Park. They're in the 5th. That game in LA is the 6th inning. Dodgers lead Tampa Bay 2-0. Reds have just added a run. Now it's 5-2. The Giants lead Cincinnati. Phil the Iron Horse Malika's Yankees. They won 6-3. They beat the Astros at Minute Maid Park. How about the Angels? They shut out Kansas City 13-zip. Ooh. This is hit deep right center field. Chris Owings on the track, and he's got it. But the Brewers send 10 men to the plate. 5 score. Through 8, they lead it 9-4. (9-4). New pitcher for Milwaukee, the right-hander Jeremy Jeffress, who pitched last Wednesday at Pittsburgh. And he's had a very good year. His name is circulating all over the big leagues in trade talks for contenders looking for a good bullpen arm. 42 appearances and a 2.23 ERA.
23 out of 24 in save opportunities. Obviously not a save opportunity right here, but Craig Counsell wants to keep his closer sharp, taking this opportunity to get him an inning of work.
6th in the National League with 23 saves.
That doesn't always work out real well when you bring your closer in a non-save situation, thinking, yeah, he needs a little work. It's been a while since he's been out there.
Hopefully that's the case here tonight. It'll be Phil Gosselin, Gene Segura, and Paul Goldschmidt, 2, 3, and 4 in the Diamondback 9th inning. Brewers just got 5 runs in that 8th inning. They had only 3 hits in the inning, but sent 10 men to the plate. Diamondbacks pitchers walk 4. Gosselin doubled in the 3rd. He's 1 for 4. No, he didn't, Adrian Johnson. 1 and 2 on Phil Gosselin. Another start at second base tonight for Phil. He started 3 straight games over there, and he's had a hit in every game. Called strike 3. Jim Wolf rings him up.
Jim Wolf has been partial to that high breaking ball all night long. There's one up above the belt. Although according to Fox Tracks, it does catch the very top of the strike zone.
Well, one more chance tonight for Gene Segura. He's been aboard twice, a double and a walk. He scored a run. Batting in the 3-hole tonight. Jake Lamb out of the starting lineup for a couple of days at least. He's got a left hand bruise. So Segura batting 3rd, and Goldie in the cleanup spot. There's a strike. I don't think it's a DL situation for Jake Lamb, but he'll probably be out of the starting lineup 3-4 days. David Peralta will continue to play at Reno, and he will rejoin the Diamondbacks Friday in LA at Dodger Stadium. As we conclude this road trip there, long throw. Hernan Perez throws him out. Well, here comes Goldie. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool plays of the game. As usual, he has put on a show at Miller Park.
Well, not quite as spectacular as some of the shows we've seen in the past, but consistently getting the barrel of the bat on the ball, making things happen offensively. Even on his check swing, he gets an RBI.
Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool plays of the game. Goldie has 2 hits. A stolen base, a run scored. He's knocked in 2. He was 3 for 5 last night. Diamondback Live post-game show follows our ball game. Reaction from the clubhouse. Same 2 teams tomorrow night. Archie Bradley against Jimmy Nelson. That's a 5:10 first pitch tomorrow night back home in Arizona. Diamondbacks Live following our ball game. You'll hear from Chip Hale. Reaction from inside the clubhouse. 1-2 on Goldie. And that's the ball game. up-and-down night for the Diamondbacks pitching staff. Patrick Corbin labored through a near 40-pitch first inning, gave up 3 runs, and was really good after that. Retired 11 of the next 12 he faced. It was a 4-4 ball game in the 8th inning. And then trouble for Daniel Hudson and Zach Curtis. Brewers got 5 in the 8th. They win it 9-4. And Bob, here we are now, halfway through a 10-game road trip, and the Diamondbacks so far are 1-4 on the trip.
Against a couple of the weak sisters in the National League. Not exactly what you had hoped for on this trip. It just seems like when the pitching is there, the offense can't score. When the offense scores, the pitching can't hold the opposition, and occasionally there's some misplays defensively. Just out of sync with the world right now.
Well, trying to get back in sync tomorrow night with Archie Bradley on the mound. 9-4 your final here. We'll have more reaction from Miller Park in Milwaukee on the Diamondbacks Live post-game show. Jody Jackson will go in the clubhouse. You'll hear from Chip Hale and some of the players. A disappointing loss here, 3 hours and 35 minutes. More from Miller Park in Milwaukee coming up next. It's D-backs baseball.